The diamond caught the first light of dawn like a shard of broken promises, and Jinwoo's world, built on blood and power, shattered with 4 words. I deserve better. Goodbye. Jinwoo's fingers traced lazy patterns on bare skin as city lights bled through silk curtains. His mistress, Hana, laughed at something he'd already forgotten, her voice sharp against the hum of Seoul's skyline. His phone buzzed again, Mia's name flashing like an accusation he'd learned to ignore. Your wife? Hana's lips curved with cruel satisfaction. She'll wait, Jinwoo muttered, silencing the call. Power meant never having to choose. He'd built an empire on that belief. Money, fear, control. Mia was just another piece of the life he owned. Across the city, Mia's hands trembled as she folded the last photograph into her suitcase. 5 years of marriage reduced to clothes and memories she couldn't bear to keep. The penthouse felt like a mausoleum, beautiful, cold, empty of everything that mattered. She touched her swollen belly, 7 months carrying his child, and felt the baby kick against her palm. We're going to be okay, she whispered, though the words tasted like lies. The diamond ring, 3 carats, flawless, meaningless, sat heavy on the marble counter. Jinwoo had proposed with it, promising forever. But forever had an expiration date she'd been too blind to see. Her note took 3 attempts. I thought love meant sacrifice. I was wrong. Love means knowing your worth. I deserve better than being your secret shame, your convenient wife, your beautiful lie. Don't look for me. Goodbye. She placed it beside the ring, grabbed her suitcase, and walked out. No tears left. Just quiet dignity and the devastating clarity of a woman who'd finally stopped making herself small for a man who'd never see her as enough. The door clicked shut. The silence that followed would haunt Jinwoo for months. Have you ever had to walk away from someone you love to save yourself? Drop a comment below. Your story might help someone else find courage. Dawn bled through the windows when Jinwoo's car pulled into the underground garage. His collar loose, Hana's perfume still clinging to his shirt, like evidence he didn't bother hiding anymore. The elevator ride felt longer than usual. Guilt? No. Jinwoo didn't do guilt, just exhaustion from a night well spent. The penthouse door opened to silence. Mia? His voice echoed back, hollow. Then he saw it, the ring catching morning light like a dying star. His feet moved without permission, drawn to the counter where their marriage now lay reduced to metal and stone. The note sat underneath, her handwriting precise even in goodbye. I deserve better. 4 words, 21 letters, the complete destruction of everything he thought he controlled. Jinwoo's hands shook as he read it again. And again. The words wouldn't change. Mia, quiet, obedient, pregnant Mia, had left him. No. The word came out strangled. He tore through the penthouse. Her closet, empty. Bathroom, bare. The nursery they'd started decorating last month, stripped of the few personal touches she'd added. His phone. He'd find her, bring her back, remind her who he was. 15 calls, voicemail, every single time. He tried her mother in Atlanta. She called me. Her mother's voice was ice. Said she's finally free. Don't call here again. Free? Jinwoo stared at the ring, really seeing it for the first time. Not a symbol of love. A chain. A beautiful, expensive chain he'd used to bind a woman who'd loved him with everything she had. The penthouse suddenly felt enormous. Empty. A gilded cage built for one. His mistress's laugh echoed in his memory. And for the first time in his life, Jinwoo felt something he'd inflicted on countless others. Pure, devastating loss. 3 days. Jinwoo hadn't slept, hadn't eaten, hadn't left the penthouse except to bark orders at his men. Find her, I don't care what it costs. But Mia had vanished, like smoke. No credit card activity, no flight records, no hotel check-ins. Someone had helped her disappear, someone with resources that matched his own. His second-in-command, Taimin, stood in the doorway, hesitant. Boss, maybe let her go? Jinwoo's eyes turned lethal. Say that again. She's carrying your child. If she wanted to be found, She's confused, emotional. Pregnant women are irrational. Jinwoo paced like a caged animal. She'll come back when she realizes she has nowhere else to go. But even as he said it, doubt crept in. Mia had a family, had friends from her art world he'd convinced her to abandon, had a whole life before him that he'd systematically erased. His phone buzzed. Hana. Miss me already? He stared at the message, disgust rising in his throat. What had seemed exciting 3 days ago now felt pathetic, cheap, a distraction from a marriage he'd taken for granted. He blocked her number, the apartment walls closed in. Everywhere he looked. Her coffee mug by the sink, the book she'd been reading on the nightstand, the sonogram picture still taped to the mirror. Mia's absence screamed louder than her presence ever had. Boss. Taemin's voice softened. The Americans have a saying. You don't know what you have until it's gone. Jinwoo's fist slammed into the wall, knuckles splitting. Pain bloomed sharp and clean. Real. Find her. But for the first time in his life, Jinwoo wondered if finding her would be enough, or if he'd already lost the only thing that mattered. 2 weeks later, Jinwoo's phone finally rang with the information he'd been desperate for. We found her, Atlanta. She's staying with her mother, but... His investigator paused. Boss, she's registered at Piedmont Hospital. Emergency room, tonight. Jinwoo's world tilted. The baby? Don't know. She checked in 2 hours ago. He was on his private jet within the hour. Atlanta's humid air hit him like a wall when he landed. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and fear, emotions he usually inflicted, never felt. Room 407. He pushed through the door without knocking. Mia lay in the bed, monitors beeping steadily. Her hand rested on her stomach, protective even in sleep. An IV drip fed into her arm. Dark circles shadowed her eyes, but she was breathing. Alive. Relief nearly buckled his knees. What are you doing here? Her voice cracked the silence, eyes open now, filled with exhaustion and something harder. Defiance. I heard you were the baby. Dehydration and stress. Her hand stayed on her belly. We're fine. Leave. Mia. I said leave, Jinwoo. She turned her face away. You don't get to do this. Show up like some concerned husband when you spent our anniversary in another woman's bed. The words landed like bullets. A nurse entered, glancing between them. Mrs. Park needs rest. If you're upsetting her, I'm not leaving. Jinwoo's voice carried the authority that moved mountains, but the nurse didn't flinch. Then sit quietly, or security will escort you out. He sat. Hours passed. Mia pretended to sleep. Jinwoo watched the monitor tracking his son's heartbeat, a sound he'd never bothered to hear before. When Mia finally spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. Why are you really here? Jinwoo opened his mouth, closed it. For once, he had no answer. The nurse left them alone as midnight approached. Mia shifted, wincing. Jinwoo moved instinctively. What do you need? Nothing from you. But her hand trembled, reaching for the water pitcher. He poured it anyway, held the cup while she drank. Their fingers didn't touch. How long? Mia's question hung in the sterile air. What? How long were you sleeping with her? Her eyes finally met his. No tears, just hollow curiosity. Before our wedding? During? Jinwoo's silence was confession enough. Mia laughed, bitter and broken. I knew. Maybe not consciously, but I knew. The late nights, the distance, the way you'd touch me like I was a duty, not a desire. That's not... Don't. She held up a hand. Don't insult me with lies, not now. The monitors beeped, their son's heartbeat, steady, innocent, unaware his father was a man who destroyed beautiful things. Do you want to know when I decided to leave? Mia's voice cracked. It wasn't the affair, it was 3 months ago. I'd spent all day preparing your favorite meal. You came home, barely looked at me, took a phone call, and left. You forgot to say goodbye. Jinwoo remembered that night, a deal closing, a celebration with Hana after. I stood in that kitchen, Mia continued, 7 months pregnant, talking to empty air. And I realized I'd been talking to emptiness our entire marriage. You were never really there. I provided everything. Everything but yourself. Her hand covered her belly. I won't let my son grow up thinking that's what love looks like. A father who's present in body but absent in soul. The truth of it gutted him. Mia, The apology stuck in his throat, foreign and insufficient. Save it, she whispered. I don't want your guilt. I just want you gone. Sometimes the person sleeping next to you can feel like a stranger. Have you ever felt invisible in a relationship? Comment below and hit subscribe. Because this story is about to take a turn you won't see coming. Jin Woo didn't leave. Despite Mia's words, despite the nurse's pointed looks, he stayed through the night in that uncomfortable chair, watching the rise and fall of her breathing. Dawn brought Mia's mother, an elegant woman whose eyes turned to steel when she saw him. I'll get security, she started. Mom, don't. Mia's voice was tired. He can stay, for now. Her mother's gaze could have cut glass, but she left. Silence stretched between them until Mia broke it. You should feel him kick. Your son. Jin Woo's breath caught. Can I? She nodded, and when his palm touched her belly, the world stopped. A flutter, then a firm push against his hand. He's strong, Jin Woo whispered, voice cracking. He has to be, Mia said softly, with the family he's being born into. For the first time, Jin Woo saw past his empire to what he was passing down. Legacy built on fear, not love. A throne of blood his son would inherit. I don't know how to be a father, he admitted. My father taught me power, not this. This? Mia's eyebrow raised. Feeling. The word felt like confession. I built walls so high I forgot there was supposed to be something inside them. Mia studied him, really looked at him for the first time in years. You know what's sad? I think I'm seeing the real you for the first time, and it's only because I left. Another kick. Stronger this time. He likes your voice, Jin Woo noticed. I sing to him, every night. Mia's expression softened. Told him stories about a father who might one day choose love over power. Jin Woo's throat tightened. What if that father doesn't know how? Then he learns, Mia whispered, if he wants to badly enough. 3 days. Jin Woo stayed, learned Mia's routines, brought her mother's cooking, read pregnancy books he'd never touched before. Something fragile and new grew between them. Not forgiveness, but possibility. Then Hana walked through the door. So this is where you've been hiding. Her designer heels clicked against linoleum. I've been calling. Mia's face drained of color. Jin Woo stood, blocking Hana's path. Get out. Is this her? Hana's laugh was cruel, eyes raking over Mia's hospital gown. The wife you were so desperate to escape? I can see why you needed... Leave now. Jin Woo's voice carried death. You told me she didn't matter. Hana's voice rose. That she was just an arrangement. That we... Enough! But the damage was done. Mia's monitors accelerated, heart rate spiking. Her hand gripped the sheets, knuckles white. Get her out, Mia's voice shook. Both of you, get out. Mia... Jin Woo reached for her. She flinched, actually flinched from his touch. Don't you dare touch me with the same hands that held her. Tears finally came, angry, devastated tears. An arrangement? Is that what I was? What our son is? That was before... Before what? Before you got caught? Before I left? Her voice broke completely. You don't get to rewrite history because you're scared of being alone. I lived your truth for 5 years. Don't insult me by pretending it was anything else. Security arrived, escorted Hana out. But Jin Woo stood frozen, watching Mia curl around her belly, protecting their child from him. I thought... He started. You thought 3 days erased 5 years of neglect? Mia's eyes were ancient with pain. Get out, Jin Woo. This time, stay gone. The door closing behind him sounded like a coffin lid. Jin Woo's empire stretched before him. Nightclubs, casinos, import businesses that laundered more than shipped. Blood money, his father's legacy, his prison. Taman found him on the penthouse balcony at 3 a.m., Seoul's lights glittering like false promises below. The shipment from Busan. Sell it all. Jinwoo's voice was hollow. Boss? The clubs, the casino operations, the shipping contracts tied to the Yakuza, all of it. He turned and Taemin barely recognized him. I want out. You can't just... People will think you're weak. I am weak. The admission tasted like freedom. I built an empire but lost my family. What's the point of ruling hell when heaven was right beside me? The other families won't let you walk away clean. Then I'll pay whatever price they demand. Jinwoo's jaw set with new purpose. My son will not inherit blood money, and Mia deserves a man, not a monster. He spent the next 6 months dismantling everything. Sold legitimate businesses, paid off debts, compensated families his father had wronged. The Seoul underworld watched in shock as Jinwoo Park systematically destroyed his own empire. His father's old associates threatened. He paid them. They threatened again. He paid more. Money he'd hoarded for power now bought him something more valuable: freedom. He started therapy. Real therapy, not the corporate kind. Faced his father's abuse, his mother's absence. The boy who'd learned love was weakness. Changed his number. Cut ties with anyone connected to his old life. Found a small apartment in Busan. Worked construction for the first time in his life. His hands, once manicured for boardrooms, grew calloused with honest work. And every night he wrote letters he never sent. Dear Mia, today I learned what sorry actually means. 8 months later, Mia stood in her Atlanta art gallery, the dream Jinwoo once convinced her to abandon. Her paintings lined the walls, each one depicting fragments of pain transformed into beauty. The opening night buzzed with patrons. Then she saw him. Jinwoo stood at the entrance, so different she almost didn't recognize him. Humble clothes, genuine uncertainty in his eyes, hands rough with real work. I'll call security, her mother hissed. No. Mia's heart hammered. Let him speak. He approached slowly, stopping respectful feet away. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect anything. He pulled out a folder. This is proof. The empire's gone. I've been clean 8 months. Therapy twice a week. I got a job, a real job in Busan. Mia took the papers with trembling hands. Dissolution documents. Bank statements showing modest savings. Therapist letters. Why? Because you were right. His voice cracked. About everything. I was a monster wrapped in expensive suits. And our son deserves better. You deserve better. Baby J fussed. Jinwoo's eyes went to his son. Longing and fear mixed equally. Would you like to hold him? Mia heard herself ask. Jinwoo's hands shook as he cradled Jay. The baby quieted immediately, tiny fist gripping his father's finger. Hi, son, Jinwoo whispered. I'm sorry I'm late, but I'm here now. If your mother allows it, I'll be here every day for the rest of my life. Tears streamed down his face, the first honest emotion Mia had ever seen from him. This doesn't fix everything, she said softly. I know. It might take years. I have years. You might never get back what you lost. Jinwoo met her eyes. I already found something better. Truth. True change isn't easy. It requires losing everything to find what matters. If this story moved you, drop a comment about second chances and smash that subscribe button. Sometimes love's greatest gift is the courage to become who you were always meant to be. What would you do if someone who broke you came back completely changed? Your story matters. Share it below. And subscribe for more stories about love, loss, and the courage to start again.